And I'm pleased to welcome to the stage my good friend, Adrian Hanauer, owner of the Sounders FC. Let's hear it for Adrian. Yes, yes. And Santos Laguna chairman, Alejandro Irarragorri, who is in town from Torreon. So we've got the two owners of the team here this evening to talk a little soccer, talk a little bit about what we might see tonight. I'm really excited to have you guys here, so thanks for joining us. Let's start out with a question about the Leagues Cup. This is a new tournament, second year. It's the best of Liga MX against MLS, Major League Soccer. What is the significance of the semifinal match tonight?
All right. Well, thanks, John. So I got to take care of a couple of things first. So first, I'm sorry that after 20 months, this is what you're stuck with. Like, this is the best we have to offer. But, I told John our only time crunch is if we start to see eyes glazing over when we talk about soccer. That's when we're done. So you can give us signals. The second thing, you did a good shot at it, but you butchered his last name. This is Alejandro.
I've been practicing all day. Okay. I studied Spanish. But
maybe I've been butchering his name, but Alejandro Irarragorri. I always tease him because he actually has like 7 last names, but I'm not going to go through the litany. So yeah, we're really excited to be here. It's cool to be here with title sponsor. What we do in terms of soccer games, selling tickets, seems to pale in comparison to some of the work that they're doing. Sort of seems frivolous when they're actually like changing the world and some of the technology that they're developing, but. So be it. We're here to talk a little bit of soccer. Yeah, this event tonight is the semifinal of this tournament called the Leagues Cup. And I'm going to let Alejandro talk a little bit more about it. But really, this is one piece to a puzzle of this budding competition between our league, MLS, and the league in Mexico, Liga MX. This league has grown, MLS. Liga MX has 100 years of history and amazing culture and passion. It feels like the time is right for massive competition between our leagues and our countries. It brings in the nationalism to the competition. But I'll let Alejandro take those words and run with them in terms of this tournament and what it means to him and his team.
Thank you, Adrian. As usual, you take the easy road and you leave me with the complicated matters. And don't worry, my last name in Spanish is even more difficult, so you got it right. Trust me. Very happy to be here. I love Seattle. I've been privileged enough and blessed to know the U.S. quite a lot and been traveling through the U.S. since I was a kid. And I don't know why, but this city has something really special, and my family and I have a very good connection with the city, but particularly with Adrian and his family, with whom we have developed a great friendship. The first time I met Adrian was like 10 years ago. He was just starting with the team, and it looked like a very difficult road because you guys in the U.S. have basically done great with the sports in terms of basketball and football and hockey and these other sports that are great as well, and I'm a big fan of them. My father is Cuban, so baseball is... I probably know the score better than they do. Actually, yeah, they had no idea that Seattle won yesterday against Boston, and I know exactly what happened on the 8th inning, so yeah, I like sports quite a lot. But the beautiful thing about soccer is that it is global. It is not only for one country. And actually, every sport is intended to make communities better. And in terms of soccer in particular, it actually works in the real inside of communities. And it can actually help develop communities and aggregate value by inspiring people, by creating these great stories. And I'm sure that MLS is going on the right way, and particularly Seattle Sounders, the growth, we respect that a lot. And yes, in the last game that we played, we actually won, but that's on the pitch. Off the pitch, I think that we have both actually been winning because we've learned from each other, we learned from our experiences and everything that happens between this. And the growth here in Seattle for soccer, I think, is huge. And it's just amazing. Look at what you have here. You have a great stadium for football and soccer. You have a great stadium for baseball. And this represents the passion of your community, a community that actually inspires us a lot. And doesn't matter what happens today, the green team will win because both are green. So I think that's on the one side. Then we're also very competitive, right? And obviously we want to see our teams win. And something that I think will fuel up soccer in the U.S. is the fact that we've been doing this for more than 100 years. So that passion that has grown by suffering, crying, hurting ourselves, losing money as well, and losing a lot of games, I think that it can be taken to the U.S. in a very natural way because our countries share a lot of things. Not only 2,000 miles of border, but a lot of Mexicans live here in the U.S. And now, not only Mexicans, but more Mexican Americans that have their own role in your culture, in your community. And they are very passionate about football, about our football, about soccer, I mean. And I think that the fact that we're able to put together the best of the MLS, because you didn't mention that, but I'll have to tell you something, guys. It's always easy for me to see it. But what Seattle has done in terms of soccer, it's just great. Because a little bit like Santos, we're not the largest city in Mexico. Seattle is not the largest city in the U.S. We're probably not the largest economy either. But we are probably the best people in town. And I think you guys are as well. So that's why I think Seattle has done a great job. Sounders have done a great job beating the rest, beating L.A., beating New York, beating all these big cities. And it has a lot to do with the vision that the ownership has and how they're integrating the team to the community. So this Leagues Cup comes as this very first initiative to play a tournament between both leagues with the best of the best. Probably the sport that is played the most in the U.S. today is soccer because it's a really friendly game and it's a game full of spirit and it has too many moving parts, and this is why it ends up being a lot of magic in the game. So baseball, it's a great game. It's really professional, and everything is accounted for. In soccer, you can't do that because there are too many moving parts. It never stops. You don't have timeouts. You have to just play for 45 minutes and then kill the next 45 minutes to see a result. And I think that will actually come to add a lot to the sports industry in the state of Washington and in Seattle in particular. And it's a pleasure to being here and cooperating with you guys. And regardless of who wins on the pitch, I'm sure that we'll be able to keep on creating opportunities for ourselves, our communities, and particularly our fans.
I told you wouldn't get through your 6 questions before kickoff.
Well said. Thank you, Alejandro. Well, it's obvious, and I don't know how to say this word in Espanol, but it's obvious there's a bromance here between you two. USA Today recently described MLS and Liga MX. What is it? Liga MX or Liga? I mean, that's the easy Americanized version of it. A real bromance between the two leagues as well. So there's been a lot of talk about potential merger of the two leagues, a bigger alliance than what we're just talking about for tonight's semifinal. What do you think the chances are, maybe scale of 1 to 10 in the next 3 to 5 years, that we will see a fully integrated MLS and Liga MX?
0. Yeah. No, we'll walk before we run. This is the long play. There are a lot of integrations that we can do. Alejandro and I are proud that we've been friends and communicating and sharing best practices for 10 years now. But it took us a massive amount of energy to get owners from our two leagues together to have conversations, to break bread, have a meal, and get to know each other, which was absolutely insanity. That these two countries that share 2,500 miles of border, 2,000 miles of border. You know, the idea that we don't know each other, you know, like he and I know each other, so we're early days in terms of building trust, building relationships, building understanding best practices, and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each other's leagues, and how ultimately, look, it's you know, going down a bit of a rabbit hole, but you know, we in this country are still trying to fight for our market share and our attention, not only with the other American sports leagues, but with the other 15 leagues that you can watch on TV any Saturday or Sunday. You know, when I turn on the TV to watch soccer on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, I can watch the English Premier League, the Bundesliga in Germany, French Ligue 1, Spanish La Liga, Liga MX. I can watch soccer from Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay. I mean, the list goes on. And so in this country, we're splitting those eyeballs. And so, you know, for us, and in partnership with Liga MX, how do we create a situation where North America is getting, you know, all that attention and getting it away from the Premier League and these other leagues? Beyond that, we just actually held a fantastic event in LA. It was the first time we've had an all-star game where we had the best of MLS against the best of Liga MX. And it was an amazing event. It was well covered, well watched. The players really cared. I know, you know, if you're a sports fan, all-star games often aren't that exciting and don't have a lot of passion and energy around them. This one did. It you know, it was competitive. So that's another area where we can collaborate. Again, business generating revenue, you know, between each other, and how do we get the 60 million, 70 million Hispanics in this country to tune into both Liga MX and MLS. So there's a lot of work to do, and you know, we can dream, never say never, but I don't think merging the leagues is not the key to building North American soccer. So that's way down the list in terms of priorities.
Cool. So let's cut to the chase here on tonight's match. I understand there might be a bottle of tequila or two on the line, and yes, that's right. That's what I hear. So who's it going to be tonight? Who's going to win it? Alejandro?
Yeah, I have to think about that one in terms. Let me just count the shirts, and I think.
We're all
No, I think
tonight.
I think soccer is going to win. I really think the fans are going to win. You know, no, really, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. I mean, first of all, as I said it before, the growth of Sounders has been great, and we respect what they've done and the team that they have. And obviously, we want to fight against them and we want to win, and that's the whole idea that we have today. But really, I believe that who's winning is the sports, who's winning is the community, who's winning is this opportunity. And yes, Adrian is right, not to merge, but to collaborate. And it is really very difficult to understand how two countries with all these similarities, we haven't met. I mean, there was never before a meeting between two owners of MLS and two owners of Liga MX before we did it together. And we pushed. It was not easy to do it. We had to do a lot of convincing because they didn't want to sit with each other, because they don't want to see what is really clear going forward. And then as well, you guys hopefully will be a stadium for the World Cup that is coming in 2026. And so I hope I get invited by my friend Adrian as well to that. And but I think that's a big change, because this is a World Cup 3 countries are doing together. And I am sure that the US could have done it in terms of infrastructure easily by themselves. But I'm also sure that the way to get it was acting as 3 countries together. So what Canada, the US, and Mexico did to collaborate on this and to actually get that World Cup and secure that World Cup is what we can show to the rest of the world by fighting together. And Adrian is right. We're not just fighting against NFL and NBA in terms of eyeballs and in terms of interest from the fans and the young people and all the fans in the community. But we're fighting against a lot of entertainment. So the way I look at it is we are stronger together. Probably not merging. Merging is a very strong word, but definitely working together and creating competition that has the interest of other eyeballs, because we could also export our games to other latitudes if we actually do it the right way and working without egos first, which is a big problem because there are a lot of egos involved in the sports and in the relationship between Mexico and the US and Canada. But I think that we're, at least Adrian and I, and you talk about our relationship, and yeah, I love this guy quite a lot, and his family, and his vision, and his passion for sports, and for Seattle in particular. But if we can duplicate this and then do it 4 times and create other relationships between MLS owners and Liga MX owners, I think this is going to be the best for us. Now, again, the green team will win. So whoever is wearing more green probably is going to be better off. I don't know why you're wearing these colors, by the way, because my socks are clearly green as well. Look at your socks. Those are nice. Great.
Sports tech summit socks. Yes.
Are you cutting us off?
You can
Are we-
say, yeah.
so-
I know you're not going to give a prediction.
No, look, I'm going to say the Sounders are going to win tonight.
Oh, no.
It's going to be a very, I would never do this for a regular season game.
I know.
It's going to be a very close game. The Sounders are at home, although you see a bunch of Santos Laguna jerseys out there. So, there are going to be some fans rooting for Alejandro and his team. What I really wanted to say, though, if you're about to cut us off, is just 2 things. One, thank you all for being here, for you, John, GeekWire, the tech community. You are our people. It's so cool. It's awesome. I mean, whenever we do these events, a lot of people come out, and I always, look, I always wonder who our fans are, but you and the GeekWire community have always been there for us. So thank you for that. The other thing I just want to mention about this relationship and sort of the bromance that you see is around community largely. Alejandro, I've been to Torreon to see his facilities, his family, what they do in their community to connect with people, to leave their community a better place to live. And so, for instance, when we found out that we were going to be playing each other a few weeks ago, he called me immediately and said, what can we do in the community? What can we do to leave some legacy? What can we do to make it, how do we help Seattle? So yesterday, he, left his family who he was enjoying a day with, and we went down to South Park and to the CMAR Museum down there and ran a vaccine drive to try to get more vaccinations into Latina communities. And, we're working together. They have an academy that they run in Yakima. The Sounders are active in Yakima. So we're going to do one of what we do are these rave fields. We build these community pitches that are free use. The rich kids don't get to rent them every after school. It's for open play. And it's just a great thing to get kids out and active, especially kids who don't have access to fields. So again, we connect on that philosophical level and that level in terms of what soccer teams, what sport is really about, which is community and emotion and leaving our place a better our kids and their kids a better place to live. So I wanted to get that in before you send us packing. All right.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Alejandro. It's really cool, especially in this time of polarization, to hear 2 people talking about coming together which is what you're talking about, and that just makes my heart feel strong. So thank you, Alejandro and Adrian, for being here today.